Good morning, everybody. I hope that for those of you who watched my stream or someone else's stream, that you had a good election night. I definitely think, I don't know if I'd say it was as exciting maybe as 2016, but I think it was pretty close to, I'd almost say like a perfect election night, in that stuff mostly came in on time. Um, Results were coming in at a pretty steady pace throughout the night. We had some back and forths, but just on the whole, a very smooth operation. And I have to say that I'm impressed. I think what I had said, and I was kind of all over the place to be honest with my predictions. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of go through a whole bunch of different stuff because there's a lot of different stuff to talk about. We're going to take a look at the polls versus the results. We're going to take a look at the exit polls, maybe look at some salt on Twitter and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me getting older. The salt doesn't fill me with as much joy as it used to, but I guess just because a lot of it's just so kind of pathetic at this point in time. It's so petty. It's so like that. The people who do it have like no self awareness for the most part. So if you're wondering why I'm here, I took a day off today just because uh I need to get up relatively early for work, and uh I was up till like 4 last night. So yeah. Let's just start off with, I guess I don't really have a show structured. I woke up and I played Sins of Solar Empire for a while to just kind of get my mind going. I have some coffee, and I didn't even use most of my energy drinks. So let me see here. If there a 2024 versus 2020 election uh comparison. Okay. Let's take a look at the New York Times. I let me see here. Final state counts 2020. Um Oh, okay, cool. All right, the New York Times still has their previous one up. So let's just go through a couple states. I'm kind of curious to oh, hey Xenon, hey Noah. Um Excited to see what Kamala has to say. I mean, I think we all are. Well, actually I'm not. I don't know. I have to say, I enjoyed Trump's victory speech because I honestly don't think I've ever seen the guy that tired and run down. And people, just so you know, I don't mean that as a criticism. Like, I'm not criticizing Trump or anything, or God forbid, taking a shot at his age. That man has worked. You can say a lot of things about Trump. You can say he's an asshole. You can say he's a narcissist. You can say all kinds of stuff, but he is not a lazy dude. That guy puts in insane hours. He goes into all kinds of rallies. Like, you gotta imagine. It's I think it was what, 4 a.m. The guy did 3 rallies in one day. He's been on the campaign trail doing two, three, four events a day, flying all over the country. Um, and he's just like, "Oh, is it over? I guess I should be happy. I just want to go to bed." But it was fun. My stream last night got immediately claimed because of God bless the USA. I Fortunately, YouTube's pretty good at AI removing these things now. So let us just start going through some states and just take a look. I want to look at some blue states to begin with. The New York Times probably doesn't have what it was last time, I would imagine. So that would be too convenient. Okay, so Trump was within 20 in California. Okay, yeah, it's okay. So Harris, okay, so last time the margin in California was 64-34. Now it's 57-40. Let me see. So that's Is that 17 points this time? Versus I wonder if there's a place that just has the straight out margin. 64 minus. Yeah, okay, so like the lead halved in California. I think as we go through this whole thing is going to be just kind of insane. Um oh, what is this cope? This is from Washington the Washington Compost. Trump used the red mirage, and I think they're trying to claim that there was another red mirage this time. Let's see here. Democrats have won the Senate. Okay. Wait, what? Oh no, that's 2020. That's what I'm looking at. Let's see. Oregon is 12 points. Last time it was 16 points. Washington was 19 last time. This time it's 20. Actually, that's interesting. It looks like Washington's one of the few states he didn't improve in. New Mexico this time was 6 point difference. Last time it was 10 point difference. So yeah, like even in like blue states, we're seeing a pretty huge, um, a pretty. Oh, no sound. I mean my thing is working. Um, okay. I don't know. I was worried there that I had muted myself, but no, I don't think I did. Let's look at a couple other states. So yeah, if somebody knows, okay, shift. Um, uh, yeah, it did the shift per county though. It doesn't. I'm trying to find like a if there's a shift per state or something like that. Um, just because I haven't been able to see one. If anyone knows any site that's comparing them directly, let me know. I'm just looking at the vote totals. So let's see, was Colorado closer? Colorado about the same, a little closer. Florida though is so Trump won Florida by 13 points this time. Last time he won it by 4. So yeah, you're seeing pretty massive improvements all across the board. I wonder if there's any states that didn't move rightward this election. Okay, New York, like, okay, so Virginia was actually, I'd say, competitive. Like, I would say that ultimately it was probably about a lean margin that the Democrats took it from. It was kind of a long shot, but it's far from being a safety anymore. We'll have to see though what happens in the next election. I think Texas has turned a corner. I don't um I don't really see it switching blue for a couple of cycles at least. Um the thing is though, like it's a pretty clear victory. I'm not gonna quite say landslide, but it was a big victory. Like it was a very clear, decisive victory. It looks like he's gonna win all of the swing states. Now, what I was really off on was the popular vote. My electoral map was mostly correct. The only state I missed was Michigan. Um, but I thought Harris was going to win the popular vote. I didn't realize you were going to see that much of a shift. Uh, Basically everywhere in the United States, like even in dark red states, Trump picked up some support. Like he got more votes in West Virginia, uh, Tennessee. He picked up like 3 or 4%. Let's see, what was Louisiana? Yeah, even in dark red states, he still picked up a couple percentage points, 2 to 3, and I mean that adds up if you start going across the entire country. Let's see, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's about the same. Arkansas. Yeah, picked up a percent. Now, what I'm interested to see is how much of this is due to voter turnout and how much of this is due to um, Trump's popularity. Because I'm looking at the last. Now, granted, a lot of the votes aren't counted yet, so it's hard to know what the final vote tallies are. But last time Trump got 74 million votes, and this time he's got about 72. So it looks like voter turnout is down, assuming that votes in 2020 were real. So I don't know. I was not expecting Trump to win popular vote. To all the people who said that, I mean, good job guessing that stuff. Um, well, the thing with the Iowa poll, and I think that Red Eagle Politics made a good point about it. If the Seltzer poll had have had Trump at like +4 in Iowa, that might have actually been scary. Like, if you're gonna rig something, you have to do it in a way that's convincing. Like when Russia did the elections in did the referendums in Ukraine and they got like 90 something percent of the vote. I'm like, guys, like that's not, no one can believe that that's real. You have to be better at rigging stuff. Like if you had said 60% voted to join Russia, that would have been believable. That would have been debatable. Like you have to be careful when you're coming up with numbers. Like you have to keep them on Earth, which is, I think, a problem a lot of countries have. Now, I just want to say, call some people out. So they're talking about this a bit when I was on Kino Casino. I hate all these fucking fake political commentators who wanted to get into the grift, um, because it was profitable and they could get views. By that I mean the people who were just giving predictions that aren't even physically possible. Like Trump's going to take 48 states, Trump is going to take New York, just all that kind of nonsense. Like it just irritates me because it's so obviously fake. Somebody with any kind of basic understanding of polling or how the election system works in the US, like with a grade school education, could tell that those takes were ice cold. But you had main people like saying that. You had people saying Kamala was going to win like 40 states. I didn't see any evidence throughout this that this wasn't going to be a fairly close election. Um, if anything, the polls seem. I think we'll go through them, but they underestimated Trump, but they didn't underestimate Trump nearly as much as some of the previous polls did when we were looking at the last election cycle. So, but it's just you're like if you're saying Trump's gonna win like New York and California and Washington State, like you're just not a serious person. It's yeah. Like I admit I was off, but it's not like I was off by a crazy amount. And I think I always said that the popular vote is certainly possible, but like Trump won and it was a convincing victory, but um even so, like a 10 or like 100,000 votes here and there, and it could have very much gone the other way. So I think I said that Trump had about a 60% chance of winning. Once again, I underestimated Trump, but like that's a reasonable take. If you thought that Kamala was gonna win by taking like the three Rust Belt states, then that I think was a reasonable take. I don't know. I'm not trying to say people can't be like creative or interesting with their stuff, but like you have to live in and we have to live in reality here, guys. We have to live in reality, and you don't do yourself any favors by just making retarded predictions. Um, So if we look at the Senate, it looks like the Republicans have regained control of the Senate. They're not calling Pennsylvania for some reason, but it looks like Pennsylvania, Nevada, and possibly Arizona could flip. Looks like they lost in Wisconsin. I don't know about Michigan. It's very close though. So the Republicans still could potentially pick up another seat or two. So, but I mean, did people honestly think that Kamala was a strong candidate? Like, I think, as I said, like, look, Hillary is extremely unlikable. But Hillary is at least intelligent and like fairly competent. Um, Kamala just sucked. Like, she didn't appeal to anyone. Like, once again, as I've said many times, I Joe Biden is a likable guy. He has dementia. He talks to dead people. He's one of the most corrupt people to ever be president. But I kind of like him. Like I said, I'd like to hang out with Joe and just hear him like ramble on about crazy stories. Maybe eat some burgers together. So, so we have that. Now, what was I going to look at next? I could look at Twitter and see what people are doing. Okay, let's look at some of the copes. I'm not so much interested in the seed as I am in like the cope. Okay, so Destiny. Oh, by the way, guys, I have already moved to Canada. I'm living in Canada now. Um, and I will be here for the duration of the Trump presidency, most likely. So I had to move here. So I'm a Canadian citizen now. I have a Canadian residence. It's just it's rough, man. Let's look at the real heroes of the night. Uh okay, where is the APAC? Them saying that basically, yeah, here you go. I love APAC. You got to give them I just have to give them credit for how shameless they are. Um 210 APAC endorsed candidates have won their election. Like they just I love how APAC just brags. They posted like a writing total through the night about what percentage of Congress they control. Like it's just it's pretty funny. Uh let's see here. But they're the real heroes. Okay, let's see what Will Stencil is saying. Has Will Stencil killed himself? Uh okay. Harris ran a grand campaign. We allowed the internet and right wing media to cook the whole country in right wing misery and discontent for years. Also, misogyny. Um, so he's just blaming fake news. Um, so he says anti incumbency. The information environment is broken. Uh, okay, so basically, he's just saying we have to negotiate. We have to ban fake news. Okay, but this was literally Will Stencil's. Um, this is Will Stencil's entire campaign was on like the economy was great. So let's see here. Okay, so we just have a bunch of cope. Um, I don't know. We're gonna take a look at the biggest coper of all. This is I'm sorry I keep bringing him up. I really wish I didn't bring him up constantly. It's just everyone. I just there's so much overlap. Just so many people in my feed reference it. So this is the new cope we're getting. That this was a 4D chess plan from Nick. Had Nick endorsed and involved himself with Trump, the media would have gone wild, highlighted it, and activated millions more to vote for Kamala. By distancing himself from Trump, Nick took serious ammo away from the media and helped to secure the victory for Trump. We all need to be thanking Nick right now. As said, trust the plan. And he responded to this, or maybe he deleted it. Uh, okay, so let's just look at the delusion we have here. Okay, reactionary Groiper, this is true. If they don't get it, it's an IQ filter. I knew that was Nick's plan the entire time, which is why he voted for Trump. Uh, it worked. He made Trump pivot harder into immigration. Fuentes won the election for Donald Trump. Imagine writing this. Spot on. Trust the plan. So Trump literally, Nick saved Trump from an embarrassing loss. Like the level of cope on display here. Um, what did he say? He said we won again. Yeah, I can't believe we did it again. He did it again. This was all this was all part of the plan. Oh boy. Yoba's taking a shot at him. So it's just seethe. So that seems to be the cope, is that this whole thing was a 4D chess plan. I think we were saying that that was going to be it. Um so total Groiper victory. So I guess the logic was that announcing that they were going to go to Michigan to try to cost Trump the election and then not doing it got Republicans angry, and then they turned out the vote for, I don't know, it's fucking retarded. But that's the where did the crystal thing come from? I know it's a reference to Ocarina of Time where Zelda was trapped in the crystal, but I don't get what it specifically is about. And by the way, look at Polyev. Can I get a physiognomy check? The dude looks like a fucking alien. Um, he literally looks like a gray alien, at least in my humble opinion. Oh, let's see here. What else do we have? So, anyone want to take any guesses? Are we going to have attempts to decertify the election? I've already seen some Democrats say that there was mass electoral fraud, um, and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how far it'll go. The problem is that it wasn't that close. Like it was close, but it wasn't within like 10, 20,000 votes close. So I don't know. Just when I think of Crystal, I think of this from Ocarina of Time. As far as it goes. By the way, I got Echoes of Wisdom. I have to watch. I'll play Echoes of Wisdom sometime soon. I'm just making my way through Tactics Ogre Reborn. So when I'm done Tactics Ogre Reborn, maybe I'll do that more. Let's see here. Sorry, I just have a little bit of congestion this morning. Let's go through and just look at some of this. Let's look at some of the comments. Okay, Obama's talking about Quincy Jones. Yeah, rest in peace, Quincy Jones. I don't know that much about him, but I know he's one of the biggest record producers of all time. And like the fact that Obama's doing this instead of coping is kind of a cope in and of itself. Um, let's see. How can the total number of votes this year be less this year when there were in 2020 after we've had the biggest turnout than biggest turnout than after we've had the biggest turnout than ever before? Is that grammatically wrong? I'm sorry if I sometimes grammar Nazi. I just sometimes like I'm not sure if I just can't read well or these people just write like shit. There were after we've had the biggest turnout than ever before. It shouldn't it be bigger turnout than ever before or had the biggest turnout ever? I don't know. Demand a recount and investigation. Do not concede Kamala. There we go, guys. Do not concede. It was rigged. It was rigged, guys. Here's how Kamala can still win. Something doesn't add up. Okay. Let's see. No fucking way. Okay, people are saying that. Key shift in the electorate. Yeah, so men massively shifted. Has this massively shifted towards males. I mean, once again, I like how if you we'll probably go through it, but none of them are saying like maybe we should see what the issue was with was the issue with um what's it called again? With men. The issue with men, like and how to appeal to them. I just think that like they just don't get it and they're not even gonna try to deal with it. Let's see here. Okay, time has come for DSP Politics. I'm gonna have to watch the Kino Casino. What's it called again? Uh the DSP segment. I'm kind of like nervous to watch it because I feel like it's just gonna be the cringiest. Because Phil doesn't really have opinions. Like he's pretty good at just kind of stating the obvious in a very succinct way, but he's just kind of extremely boring. I think that's what the whole Phil redemption arc has kind of taught us once and for all, is that Phil is like really boring. The only interesting thing is when he's fighting with detractors or trying to scam. Like I've tried to watch his show a couple times and it's just it's just it's unwatchable. It's just boring. He just basically reads off what's happening on screen. He reads like really lame super chats. My problem with Phil, and this is my problem with a lot of people who uh do commentary, is he just doesn't have I don't know if it life experience is the right way, but he just doesn't have like the ability to do analysis, to talk about stuff. Like I just never see him say, "Oh, well, this reminds me of that," or "Oh, this reminds me of this event," or "Oh, that's a cool convention," or "I like what they did." It's just very reactionary, boring, doesn't add anything. anything commentary. And I mean, the dude should have a lot to say. Because he's played so many games over the years, so he should be able to talk about genre. He should be able to say, "Oh, this reminds me of this. This is like the evolution of it, like something." But it's just nothing, and that's the biggest sin. The worst sin that you can do is not to be bad, but to be boring. Let's see here. As an Australian, I really don't understand why Trump was even allowed to run and why he's currently winning. He's literally a convicted felon. The whole convicted felon thing I find fascinating because haven't we been told for haven't we been told for years that the justice system is unfair, that the justice system puts like hundreds of thousands of black men in jail, that like felons are unfairly demonized? Weren't we told about that for years? I seem to remember, like, does anyone else remember that? And now the justice system is infallible, and the justice system, like, we have to demonize felons and not allow them to participate in our society. It's interesting with that. Neon Napoleon Evangelion, yes. I think I figured out how to play the game a bit better. So I changed some stuff around, and I think it's going okay now. I did some grinding, and I figured out like that it's more important to level skills than it is to level levels. Convicted felon is like Russia's full skill invasion. Yeah, like once again, can anyone in the chat explain? Okay, if someone in the chat, could you please list what was the crime that Trump supposedly committed? Because I doubt more than 1% of the population um, knows what it is. Okay, let's see. We have some mask off. Um, is this a is this an early life section guy? Has anyone here played has anyone here played Tactics Ogre and Night of Lotus? I actually didn't realize until like 2 or 3 days ago that Night of Lotus is actually a prequel to Let Us Cling Together. Night of Lotus is one of my favorite games of all time. Um, I played that so much when I was a kid. Wow, that was if you've never played Tactics Ogre Night of Lotus, I recommend it. It's really good. It's like as good as Fire Emblem, almost in my opinion. Let's see here. If politics was driven by rational thought and objective truth, it would instead be called science. Oh, that's Seethe. Okay, so we have just stop oil is destroying property. That's cool. Yeah, the Game Boy Advance one. I think in this might be a millennial take. I think honestly the GBA is my favorite system of all time. There were so many good GBA games. You had what was there? Circle of the Moon, Dawn of Sorrow, Mega Man Battle Network 1, 2, and 3, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, a couple Fire Emblem, three good Fire Emblem games, uh, Ruby, Pokemon Ruby, Fire Red and Leaf Green, among many, many others. It's really good. I also think the GameCube is very underrated, but I just I think I really loved my Game Boy Advanced SP. I was trying it still works perfectly fine. I gotta say it's very impressive. My analysis of the voting so far. Yeah, and once again, this is This is just how liberals think. To be honest, it's sad. Like it's and they wonder why they lose. Like if you're just going to dismiss these people and say that they're retarded and say that they're evil and stuff like that, why would they vote for you if you have open contempt for them? Um. So. Liberal meltdowns. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of Native American, don't a lot of Indians in the Amerindians in the U.S. vote for vote Republican? My understanding was they were redder than they are in Canada. I got my friend Torellian had his birthday recently. So I got him Fire Emblem Three Houses for his birthday. So I'm excited to say I'm excited to see what he thinks about it. Fire Emblem Engage was not good though. Fire Emblem Engage was very mid. Let's see here. Emerson, Trafalgar, and Atlas at A+ rating. I agree. Uh oh, Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang has a good take. Bannon absolutely spitting fire, promising Roman justice for the globalist enemies of America. Based. Uh oh wow, this guy. Okay, we have a logical take. If you lose the Senate, House, and Electoral College and popular vote, do you think the lesson is half the country is racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, and stupid? You learned the wrong lesson. Yeah, I think that's true. Let's see here. My cat woke me up last night right after PA got called. The animals were on our side. Yeah, Rain didn't really bother me last night that much. She was probably just tired and happy I went to bed. So she, I don't know if I was just being loud or something. She normally comes and sits in my lap, but anyways. Uh, okay, that means there are 15 million sexist, racist Democrats who refuse to. Okay, or is this like it's? Oh, that's Chrissy May. Okay. The thing I find funny is I honestly can't. I don't know if this is autism or there's just so much irony posting. Like I didn't see that this was Chrissy Mayer, but this makes sense. So I saw the first part of this and I was like, oh, it's gonna be this is gonna be like a real post. I admit I just find it very hard to tell these days. Once again, I don't know if that's autism or what it is, but I don't know. Uh, by the way, something I will say about I was watching some Netflix documentaries on the weekend. I will say this about Netflix: as positive as it is and as much shit as it produces, its documentaries are really good. I was watching the Monsters one about the Menendez brothers. That was pretty cool. Javier Bardem did a really good job in it. And I was watching the Bad Surgeon one about the fake Italian surgeon guy. That was pretty cool. Kamala's finish. Let's keep her cackling infectiously. The objectives of the special military operation remain unchanged and will be achieved. Is it just me or like whenever Putin or Medvedev talk, do you hear like the Russian version of Patriots are in control? I feel like that's always the impression I get whenever they watch that. Um, Honestly, Cyberpunk 2077. It was, you know what? I actually am gonna change my mind. I think it was actually a pretty good game. It just was not finished. But like a lot of the part, I had a lot of fun playing it. I had a lot of fun playing Cyberpunk. There was just some fundamental issues with it, like the driving sucked. I thought the economy system was broken, and I don't like how damage was based on level. That was kind of my issues with it. But I think a lot of the fundamental aspects of it were really interesting. Let's see. Nice Meme Fryer is always so divisive whenever I have him on. A lot of people tend to hate him. He is one of the most kind, wonderful human beings I've ever met, but he is brutally autistic and he stutters a lot. So I can see why there's mixed feelings about about him. Oh, funny nice meme fryer story. I was talking to Torellian one night on TeamSpeak and back when I had TeamSpeak, and nice meme fryer just popped on and said, "Oh, hi there. I'm going to go brush my teeth. Bye." And then he signed off, and then they didn't come back on. And that was and he just did that. And he does that stuff like he'll just pop on and say, "Oh, I'm going to bed." Yeah, but he's probably, I mean, I don't know. He has a PhD. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's just it's weird because he's Indian but autistic, and the two kind of cancel each other out a bit. Because Indians are super emotional and touchy feely, and autists are kind of very unemotional. So they kind of balance each other out. But yeah, no, he's a PhD and he's very intelligent guy. He's just kind of a spurg. I need to have him on at some point and have him rant about India because he's a Brahmin Catholic. And just him ranting about Hindu nationalists is hilarious. Yeah, I took work off today. Yep. Uh, we had some changes at my work, so those of us who didn't take very many um, sick days last year got wellness days. So I figured I need to use them up before April, so I figured I'd just take a wellness day today. He is a dot Indian. It's funny because he's a pure Brahmin, so he's like he's like 6 inches taller than the average. Oh, him ranting about India is amazing. What's this?
Trump, it's your boy Dank Brandon here. I want to take a moment to congratulate the DNC on losing another election to Donald Trump. You replaced me with a candidate who has the same likability as Greasy, hobo Tate, and expected to win, and they say I'm the retarded one. The Democrats said that I was too old, that I was too slow, that I was a joke. Well, here's a joke for you. What do Willie Brown and the 2024 presidential election have in common? Kamala Harris blew both of them. I shouldn't have said that. But seriously, I mean, first Hillary loses to Donald and now Kamala. This man has beaten more women than Doug Emhoff. Anyways, congrats on losing to Hitler again. I hope he locked you all up this time. Thank Brandon out.
Okay, that was an amazing AI. That's hilarious. Uh, let's see. No, yeah, he has trouble. Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, sorry for gushing over him. He's just such a great guy. I'm really happy for Serb. I'm happy that he's married and has a kid now, and we need more like hardworking Americans of good moral character to have children. So I'm really happy for him. Let's see here. Kai Trump. Uh, this guy won his race right. I don't know who that guy is. Who are these? Oh, it's Andrew Tate. Okay. Okay, we have people starting to claim fraud. Something is very wrong. 7 million. I think it's 6 million. I don't I think this guy's wrong. I think it's 6 million down the popular vote to 6 million up. Uh, Months ago, he bragged about having all the votes he needed. If someone could figure out how to fix a few swing state counts, something is very wrong. Yeah, it was electoral fraud, guys. It's electoral fraud. Um, it doesn't make sense. Okay, here we go. Here's some more delusion. It doesn't make sense. So many Republicans voted Democrat. Kamala had more people at a rally. She won the debate. We had all the professional analytical predictions on our side. I genuinely don't understand how this happened, but you didn't. If you look at the actual okay, let's go to Real Clear Politics. If you look at the actual vote, it's not crazy different. Like it might even be within. Let me see if it's within the margin of error. Um, of this. So Trump won Pennsylvania by 3. Okay, that's okay. So Trump, this. Oh no. Okay, let's see. So I'm just gonna compare the polls to what the result was. So the polls had Trump winning Pennsylvania. Sorry, had Trump at 48.5 in Pennsylvania. He got, I think, 51%. So, I mean, that's within margin of error. It said 48% for hair, or I'm not sure because the New York Times isn't showing fractions of a percent. Let me see if I can find a one that shows fractions of a percentage. Uh, yeah, okay. Okay, so it said Harris would get. Okay, so sorry, I'm okay. So the poll said Harris was going to get 48.1 in Pennsylvania. She got 48.4, basically exact. It said that Trump was going to get 48.5 in Pennsylvania. He got 51. Like that's off, but that's not off by like a non margin of error margin. I think that might actually be almost the same. Okay, so they said that Nevada was going to be 48 Trump to 48 Harris. So Trump got 52 and Kamala got 47. So Trump was down so that was slightly outside of the margin of error, but Kamala's was pretty much dead on. Arizona was Trump 49 and Harris 43, 46. Trump at the moment, it's not done counting, but okay, so Trump got 52 and Harris got 47. It looks like the Kamala numbers were pretty consistently accurate. Let's look at Pennsylvania. Yeah, basically almost dead on. Michigan. Actually, okay, so this is interesting now that I'm going through it. So Michigan, uh, Kamala wound up getting 48.3, and it says 48.3 here as well. It had Trump at 49.7. Um, but he got 49.7. So like once again, like when people are talking about this is completely unprecedented, no one could have seen this coming. That's really not true. Like the polls were not that far off. Um Once again, I think yeah, this is really okay. Let's just take a look at this because this is kind of fascinating now that I'm looking at these side by side. That the Kamala ones were basically exact. Okay, so let's just go through these. Let's go through the swing states. So we have 51.1 and 47.7. Okay, so they said 47.5 for Kamala. So that's pretty much exact. Trump was off. Georgia, yeah, less than a point difference. Like they had it at 47.8 and she got 48.5. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much exact on. Like, keep in mind these have like a margin of error of ±3, 2 to 3, and ±2 to 3 is on both candidates. So if the final result is within 3, then that means that the poll was accurate. Now, can it be more accurate than the margin of error? Yeah, that's certainly possible, but it's not. Yeah. Let's see. So Harris got basically the same in Arizona as she was predicted to get. What are some other swing states? Georgia, Florida wasn't even counted as a swing state. PA, yeah. Like the point I'm trying to make is like none of this is really unprecedented. Like Michigan is exactly the percentage she was predicted. Let's look at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's exactly the percentage she was predicted to get. 48.6 versus 48.8. Sure, you can come on, sir. I'll jump into Argent stream server. And you're welcome to come on if you would like. Oh, okay. All right, if you don't want to come on, that's fine. Um, okay. Well, just message me if you change your mind. Oh, what? Okay, I don't. I will be an Argent stream server if you want to jump in and at any point. So just be my guest. So
Hey,
yeah. Oh, hey man.
yep. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Are you going on? Sorry, I was just watching a movie and then I saw you were streaming. Um,
I was just looking at the polls versus the result.
yeah, I was watching you talk about that.
It seems like they're
So
almost
there's like a
exactly.
really there's a really big meltdown on Twitter where I th- yeah, like Andrea Junker, I think you have her tweet sitting there, or
Yeah,
all these people are melting down saying that
it was election
we
fraud.
cheated now, yeah, and that then it's just kind of like obvious that it's the reverse. So
No, but like people are saying like this was completely unpredicted, like no one could have seen this coming. But the polls were pretty accurate. Like they slightly underestimated Trump by maybe like 1 or 2%, but the Kamala ones were almost like exactly correct. So
Mhm.
um I feel like they rigged them just enough to make it look like Kamala was gonna win. Although I actually don't know if the polls are rigged. I think it's honestly just response bias at this point in time. Why Trump was down a couple percentage points.
Mhm.
Like I think, and I mean, you told the experience of the woman who argued with you when you said you were voting Trump.
Oh yeah, she asked me what I thought about immigration, and I said it would be best if there was zero immigration or 100,000 a year or something like that. And then she started arguing with me over the phone when she was polling me and telling me how bad a person I was.
Yeah, so I feel like okay, so if Trump was down maybe like a couple extra points in the polls, that honestly could just be response bias. That could just be that people didn't want to say they were voting for Trump. Uh,
I do kind of think that there is like more, like Trump is established, and that more people are just kind of like in are just kind of accepting that he's established now after the first election,
yeah, well,
and
it
that he
wasn't a
wasn't going
huge.
away.
Yeah, I don't mean it wasn't a huge amount, but could I see like 2 or 3% of people saying, "Oh, I'm not voting" or something like that? Then yeah, I could see that happening.
Mhm.
Um, that's definitely possible. Steve. Okay, someone's posting anime girls. Why not? David Korn, Russia. Russia again attacked the U.S. election to help Trump. This should be a big deal. Okay, what are the odds of like Russia, of like them claiming this is Russia?
I think that there is going to be big protests and some. Like, I think that some kind of cope is gathering of claiming election fraud.
Okay, so if this is accurate, um 70% of white women voted Trump. That can't be right.
I don't know. I think it's less than that. I think that Trump did well among whites and took home whites and then got really close with Hispanics,
Uh
but narrowly lost, I think. He he has taken more Hispanics if you count them as a group than any
okay.
Republican presidential candidate.
Okay. All right, let's
There's
see.
just a lot of like these um racial and sex-based polls that are going around and they all contradict each other. I don't know where they're coming from.
I think a lot of these are fake, to be honest. Like I think a lot of the no, like I think a lot of the problem one of the problems with Twitter is I feel like people edit them a lot. Um so according oh no, this is only key states. Maybe they just didn't do exit polls for others. So yeah, so Trump got 45% of Hispanic Latino or no, I not Hispanic Latino. Latino vote. Hard to see. Do you think he won a majority of Hispanic males?
Um yeah, he did, didn't he? Or no, I think he's supposed to slightly have no, he's supposed to have won Hispanic males.
He did better with 16%. If he did 16% with black males, that's really good, isn't it?
Um, I just don't think that there's that many black men that vote.
Yeah, but I mean, like
They're the
it
black
was a
women.
reasonably close election, so I mean every little bit
Yeah.
helps.
I mean, she didn't get Obama numbers.
No. Uh is it that Heron's a woman? Is the misogyny that deep in America? Once again, I love how that's always what they go to. That's the first thing. So do you think there's going to be zero soul searching and like none of them are going to like ask obvious questions like maybe we shouldn't have just appointed a candidate with no primary and it's just going to be like 100% the election was rigged.
Yeah, I also think that there might be some violence between now and January, and I think that Trump is going if Dems have the House again, Trump will get impeached a third time. It's looking like Republicans are supposed to keep the House, right?
Let's see. The house is a clusterfuck. It looks like it. Uh
Um, so if like there's a blue wave in 2026, I feel like that will result in a third impeachment.
yeah, but it's not going to go through because they don't have 60 votes in the Senate.
No, I'm just saying they'll
Yeah.
vote to impeach him even if
Yeah.
it doesn't go through.
Mhm. Let's see. Okay, it's these rants. Global warming one. Global warming one. That's it is the total lack of self awareness is interesting though. Like um
It's just, I mean, the media does have a lot of power. I guess it can be bent though.
mhm. Yeah, I mean that's another thing. Like I think at a very basic level, um Trump just put in the effort. I think like if we just wanted to have like a really basic take, like the dude was doing like 2, 3 rallies a day. He was doing like dozens of interviews. Like he was going like crazy, just all over the place. Kamala would like do less than one event a day. Did she do any?
Mhm.
I think she had like one or two interviews, and they were
She was
heavily
like
edited.
having days off in the last 2 weeks and stuff like that.
Like, didn't she only? I think she only did like two or three interviews, and they were heavily edited to
Hmm.
remove all of her retardation. Like Trump went on and did a three. Like, even if Joe Rogan is going to be like nice to you or whatever, it's still in 3 hours of unscripted conversation. It's quite possible you say something really stupid
Hmm.
or something that becomes a soundbite. So I do think it actually does take balls to go and do that. Um, okay, let's see here. White Republican men don't give a shit about their wives or daughters. Okay. So if they want to be able to if they want their wives to be able to kill their daughters, that means they don't care about the women in their family?
I guess so.
Okay, cool. So I just want to say I moved to Canada because Trump won.
Based.
So I'm living here now. Let's see here. States that have adopted the national popular vote. Yeah, a bunch of states did that. Now, to be fair, I think the states have said with who have adopted the national popular vote have said that it will not trigger until a majority of the states have gone with the national popular vote, but it is pretty funny.
Hmm.
I'm just looking through Twitter.
So do you
Let's
think that uh they're just not going, like, what's going on with the Senate race not being called yet in Pennsylvania? What are
uh,
your thoughts on
uh
that?
I'm not sure. Let's just take a look at it.
Because it's over like 97% in, I think.
Yeah, Cork's up by point 0.6. I don't know. Wisconsin's not being called either. Oh no, sorry, no, Wisconsin. Yeah, no, they should probably call it for the Dems there. I can see not calling Arizona because only 60% of the vote is in.
I
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised at this point if Harris wins Arizona.
yeah.
It's just looking, I don't know.
Where are they at? They just
We need to
stopped.
like do something about Maricopa County.
Well, Trump is up 5 points in Arizona. Wait, Trump's leading in Maricopa County? What? Okay. Nevada's like I don't get why Nevada's not called yet.
No, isn't. Oh, I'm in the Senate on New York Times.
Nevada has 80
Um,
like because Las Vegas is almost entirely is mostly counted, and
hmm.
everywhere else in the state it leans Trump.
Hmm.
Well, Carson City voted heavily Trump. Reno. Like I okay, so do we know for sure that Trump is going to get 51% of the popular vote? Like, have they just not call have they because they haven't counted a lot of the
I
ballots in
don't think
California.
yeah, I think they have to finish California out because I don't think at this time in 2016 they didn't know if Trump won the popular vote yet or lost it yet
Because I
because of
still
California.
yeah, I'm still not sure. I mean, he probably will win the popular vote. I think it's going to narrow substantially though, because there's still probably another like 3 million Democratic ballots to come in. It's going to be close. Let's see here. Uh, okay, we had the crazy lady screaming about how it's fascist. Uh, okay, mid Castillas is hilarious. Let's see here. Okay,
I think
so
babies babies lost pretty big in this election, though, except for in Florida, apparently.
I'm sick of the 6 inbred children of the corn deciding if we live or die. Abolish the electoral college. Thank you, Thank you, Black Lady. That would really have helped you this time. Let's see here. Do you think Trump will pardon the Jan Sixers?
Yes, I think that he didn't do it in the first term because he thought that that would lead to. Basically, I think he thought that that would lead to the impeachment being worse.
Yeah.
The second impeachment thing. Apparently,
See.
Trump won Dearborn, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Muslims are flipping it for Trump, just like they flipped it for W, I guess.
Uh-huh. Uh, just looking. Yeah, Trump won millennial males or young males by quite a sizable margin.
Yeah.
I mean, like once again, as I said, if you looked at any of the people on the left talking about uh the male gap, it was just them shitting on males.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
let's.
kind of didn't get that much sleep last night, and I'm just wondering how this whole all these people saying that we cheated is going to what's going to happen with that.
Rovember the 5th. Wow, that is cringe. Okay. Okay, just going through this. Oh, Jagmeet Singh's crying. Okay, well that's good. If nothing else, fuck Jagmeet Singh. He's the worst. Um, Younger men voted for Trump. Oh, the salt. JD Vance will be okay. Yeah, he will be the first millennial VP. That's interesting.
So I wonder if Gen X is just going to be skipped over for the presidency.
Maybe. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. So, okay, we should start a bet. Is anybody going to is anybody going to what is it again? Um Actually leave the country. So,
Uh, I mean, if they try to move there, they're going to have a problem getting a house.
that would be amazing.
That they all try to
So,
move to Canada, but they can't get a house because of out of control immigration.
mhm. Suffer Gen X. Very true. Let's see here. Jake's meltdown. uh I'm sick to death of this misogynistic racist bullshit. America is not okay. Of course it isn't. Yeah, is that true that they said that? Okay, Ramsey Paul made an interesting point that both candidates had to send out a man to address the candidates. Didn't Kamala not have like the
Is
basic?
Kamala conceded yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, she's not had a they're asking when she'll concede.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that she's going to have a speech tonight
Do
to
you think
concede, I guess.
do you think it'll be like she concedes and then deconcedes?
I don't think she's going to deconcede because I think they're kind of screwed, like in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of thought that the meme of like, we have all these fake ballots coming in, but they still say Biden on them. I thought that was the best meme,
That
but
would be funny if that happened.
I hope that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
wonder if shenanigans are happening in these Senate races,
Do
but
you think Joe Biden is like secretly happy?
I think part of the reason we won is because of Joe Biden's running interference, actually. Like, I'm just gonna say that's a conspiracy theory I believe in.
That's not a like is that a I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory.
I don't, it's like a hunch.
No, I mean that's like that's plausible. He clearly was not happy um at all um with it. He was seething pretty hard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh it's just people just yelling. No, but like like to be fair to Joe, like they did fuck him like really hard. So yeah, I would not be surprised if Joe didn't at the very least he didn't do anything to help Kamala. Um
Mm-hmm.
so
I was like looking and like Trump won the res in Montana and a lot of the reservations. I was like, what the heck?
yeah, why does the Amerindians vote Republican
I
in a lot
don't
of
know.
states?
They
It's
should
weird.
have won the. Well, I don't know. It's weird because I thought that obviously that's not normally what usually happens, but
I think they
it's
sometimes
like they
do.
won Browning, and every other than Blackfeet looks like every res flipped for Trump.
Mm-hmm. Jill Stein going back into hiding. Yep. I don't think Jill
How many
Stein
times has she run for president?
a lot, a lot of times.
Oh, she beat Robert F. Kennedy's ghosts on the ballot, I guess, so that's cool. And
Mm-hmm.
they both apparently both beat Chase Oliver, so that's funny.
Al Sharpton just looks like he's gonna kill himself. They
Oh, this is her third time.
Kamala Harris deleted her Discord group.
Dan.
It's never been
I
more
wonder if
over.
people are telling her to put tanks on the streets in there.
Probably there would have been some good Fed post. Well, it can't be Fed posting if it's the left, but okay, here we
I
go.
mean, people are pretty much saying that on Twitter, aren't they?
I think so. Okay, so this is interesting. So Vermont, okay, Connecticut shifted 12 points rightward, Rhode Island 11, New York 11, New Jersey 12. New Jersey is almost like a competitive state now. Do you think New Jersey will
What
be
is the
competitive?
difference in? Yeah, I don't know about next time, but I think New Jersey's moving, like I said, moving into the whole swing state thing.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Yeah, New Jersey is more competitive than Virginia.
Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna win Virginia, but they came closer than I actually thought. So what is this? Okay, there's just Odysee.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, there's a bunch of, yeah, there's a number of memes of like Joe calling Trump saying uh that he supported. Like, we did it, Trump.
I mean, I think that some prevention of shenanigans might
Joe
have
calling
happened
Trump saying
because of Biden.
No, I think so. I think also I do think Shapiro uh screwed her at least a little bit in screwed her a little,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, in Pennsylvania. Let's see here. I don't know. Do you get worried about AI videos?
Sometimes, but
I don't know. It just kind of creeps me out. Like, how are we going to trust anything again?
yeah.
Kamala
I'm gonna
H. You're going to go?
yeah, I'm gonna go. Thanks for having me on.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem, man.
Positive vibes, man.
Yeah, have a good day. Okay, let's see here. I won't go too much longer. I think we covered most of the stuff that I wanted to cover. Okay, that's funny. Suicide hotline psychiatrists and libtard own compilation YouTubers right now. Did I forget to turn monetization on this stream? I thought I did. Oh, well, it is what it is. So, yeah, Fuentes is in full on cope mode. He's just saying that this was like a big victory. This was the master plan. Trust the plan. The earth is flat. You know what? Let's play that clip. Let's play that clip. Here we go. This was from back during the Patrick Casey saga.
Trust the plan. The earth is flat.
Patriots are in control.
We have it all. Patriots are in control. I mean, if you can't see the vindication,
Patriots are in control.
Patriots are in control. So this is the
Patriots.
Fuentes
present the
defense,
argument
right?
as
Trust the
some
plan.
type
You're
of
all patriots.
moral conquest against
Just
Yo,
fine.
do you think we're on a globe, dude? Are we on a globe right now? What do you think?
Are we on a globe?
Flat Earth Boxer has kind of red pilled me on this a little bit.
Oh my
Why
God.
are we talking about flat Earth? What does this have to do with
Where's
This movement is running. So Fuentes' damage control is now consisting of avowing the flat Earth.
Trust the plan. The earth is flat.
Patriots are in control.
Trust the plan. The earth is flat. Patriots are in control. Patriots are in control. So our RFK is going to make America healthy again. Okay. I'm going to apologize. Let's see how bad the boogie rant is.
I'm pissed off. Fuck! I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. Fuck! 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 God damn it!
That was like the fakest, most G-slur rage I've ever seen. It's so lame. Who is this? Who's melting down? Let's see what Fritz. Yeah, Dr. Jill Stein. Fuck you, you absolute scumbag, Putin's bitch. Republicans against Trump. Feds for Harris. It's just really fake. I don't know. Let's see here. Josh Shapiro is going to be, Recchietta, Nick Recchietta is wondering what happened. He was probably high. By the way, I know his name is Recchietta. It's just the first time that Phil talked about Recchietta, he called him Nick Recchietta. And I just think it's such a funny mispronunciation. I just started using it. Oh, markets are surging? I'm going to take a look at my stocks. Maybe I can, because some of them I've been looking to get rid of. And like liquidate, so, and then put it into something else. So let me see if any of my stocks are up, and I can sell some of, if there's anything I should sell, because it is technically a trading day today. Okay, let's see here. No. No, it's all in the garbage. Okay, so that's no. My self-picked stocks are not doing well. That's okay. I have pretty much all my money in index funds, so it's good. I have what, like 90+% of my investment in index funds. So we should be good. Let me see though. Has my overall account? I'm just going to see if my overall account has gone up in the last day. No, it doesn't look like it has. Maybe they just haven't updated it yet. I should have bought some Donald Trump media a couple months ago. That would have been good. Yeah, I had some Dogecoin. So I had bought a bunch of Shiba Inu coin because I was like, so there was one point in time when what was it again? Yeah, so I was like manic at the time, and I bought like $1,000 of Shiba Inu coin, and then it crashed. I was able to actually sell it. I just sold it as soon as it broke even. So I guess other than the opportunity cost, I didn't. Yeah. So I didn't actually lose any money, but that's the last time I'm buying crypto. Also, I had some Dogecoin, but I sold the Dogecoin. Your endless soft felting of Phil is pretty damn funny. Well, I'm not a detractor. Like I've always been very critical of detractors. It's just there's a lot of funny Phil related memes. Like although my opinion on him changed after the WWE champions thing. Footage from Trump's party at Mar-a-Lago. Hitler, Mussolini, Shinzo Abe. That's pretty funny. The Japanese betting markets. Attack. That's funny. 0% damage. Jeez, that cat's really going at it. I don't know if I'd call it a landslide. Once again, I'm just going to say it was a clear victory. It was a clear, decisive victory. I don't know if I'd say it's a landslide victory per se, though. I just turned to Alan Lichtman's live stream and immediately heard him say, I don't get it. To all the woke that are aspiral, consider heading to Canada. They have innovative healthcare solutions that will permanently end your misery. It's true. It is true. That is the case. So, yeah. Anyways, I think that covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything that anybody wanted to ask me about before I signed off. To be honest. I'll just give it another minute. Why am I gay? That's an interesting question. I'm Canadian. Like, what do you expect? RTU is having a meltdown. What are you going to tell your supporters after taking a health day off? I don't know. I just wanted to sleep. Good casino appearance. Thanks. I honestly don't think. I don't know. Was I have low self-esteem. Did I just I feel like I seemed really awkward, like I was just kind of making statements that weren't really responding to what people were saying. It's just I don't know. I don't know if I was kind of a buzz killer on the Kino Casino just because they got off topic a lot and then I was trying to like say something about the election or give some analysis. So I don't know if I was like derailing them or re-railing them or something like that. But yeah, it's a I wouldn't mind going on when it was oh, thanks Rare Tracks. I appreciate Tricks. I appreciate it. I wouldn't mind going on like when they're doing like a lol cow or something like that, or just like just having me on or me and one other person. I think I'd actually have a pretty good perspective on lolcows because like I look at it more from like a I don't know if sociological but like a I look at it from a what we can learn perspective because I feel a lot of them are tragic figures kind of in the traditional sense because a lot of them are people who had a lot of potential, who had a lot of other stuff like that, um a lot of wealth, a lot of ability and things like that. So let's see here. I think my takes are generally speaking pretty good. Like I like to okay, so if I can give myself a bit of credit, I think I generally speaking do not make takes for the sake of trying to get a reaction out of people. Something I try very hard to do is to just be sincere and like honest about my opinion and kind of go where the facts or the evidence or what I'm thinking goes. I think a lot of people get into trouble when they try too hard to like role play or to like try to do irony bro or piss people off or something like that. Um I don't know, like I don't get angry. I'm sorry if it looks like I don't really get angry about lol cows. To be honest. Actually, one sec. I might stream a little bit longer. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute. What deal do you think Trump will have Zelensky and Putin make? I'm not sure. Just if people are curious, like you don't really know any of the deep lore behind like Kino Casino. So Ashton, aka PPP, is a Canadian from the GTA. So he grew up actually not too far away from where I grew up, like maybe half an hour or so. So in like the area around Toronto, and he was apparently a pastor. If you look at like his back of the day stories, he used to be a salesman. He used to sell water filters and energy contracts and stuff like that. His friend Surfer and him would go to like the shittiest towns in Ontario and like sell stuff at those locations. And you can really see he does have the salesman thing going. He's also done security and some other stuff like that. Yes, Ashton is the heavy set guy. So his screen name is PPP, which is People's Populist Press, which is a reference to the People's Party of Canada, but also just because it was like at an immature level, it's PPP. So he kind of showed up during one of the Ethan Ralph arcs, wherein he became like kind of Ethan Ralph's leading lolcow. He I think made a lot of traction because I do think Ashton is a very charismatic guy. Like he's quick on his feet. He's very he's funny. He's good at coming up with things like that in a way that I've just seen very few other people do. So he proved to be a lot more effective. Also because he's more, whatever his rough edges, I do think he is genuinely a Christian, and he appealed to a lot of the more like right-wing social conservative people in the drama sphere. So he was a pastor. I'm not sure like if he was a youth pastor or something, but he used to work at I think, I'm not sure if he's a Baptist, I think, or a non-denominational evangelical Christian. I think he's a non-denominational evangelical Christian. So if you look at his style, it's very much, you can see the influence of like an evangelical kind of Baptist preacher thing, and the salesman thing. That he takes a lot of stuff from both of that. So he got together with like, I think it was like Kraut, Godwinson, Gahul, Mundane Matt, and like a bunch of other guys. And they took on Ethan Ralph. PvP also went on Nick Rekida's live stream where he had Dick Masterson on. And if you haven't watched it, it's pretty entertaining. PvP just basically blows out Dick Masterson over New Project 2, which was the big scam that Dick Masterson was running. And it's to the point where apparently Dick Masterson had nightmares that PPP went up against him. And so that's where we get some, like, I don't know if you've seen any of these memes, like the Barbie Dream Mansion, I Was Prom King. If you've seen the Dick Masterson red tomato face meme, that was from that. So he kind of started to get some credit for that. So he started to kind of build up his post, his kind of audience throughout that entire kind of saga. And he just kind of started going after more and more lolcows. Like he started to go after Nick Fuentes. He started to go after Ralph. Was his main enemy. Ralph apparently got him fired from his job at his church and from his other job. He got really drunk one night and showed his like asshole on I think it was Bitwave, and that was like a big thing. So I think Ethan Ralph sent that to his church, and then he got fired from his job as a pastor. And then he also got, once again, there's a lot of speculation as to how much of this is true, what actually happened, because you're dealing with a lot of unreliable narrators here. But Yeah, so Ashton was started doing his show. He lived with this guy, Surfer, who's I think his name's like RJ Finley, or I forget what his actual name was. Who's like this stoner who was kind of sexually somewhat ambiguous. A lot of people thought that they were together or something. But anyway, so things were continuing on. Ashton and Andy started to kind of become friends. Back in the day, Andy Worski had gone through one of his many drug-induced breakdowns, and Ralph had actually pulled him out of the gutter. But Andy had made friends with Ashton, and he went over to his house, and they did a bunch of streams together and hung out together, and that made Ralph seethe. And because Ralph was seething, he threw Andy under the bus. So basically, all that stuff was happening. Ashton and Surfer had a big falling out. Surfer kicked Ashton out of the apartment they were sharing together, and we had the homeless PPP arc where he was staying in a hotel, so he was staying in like some cabin without heating in the woods. And that kind of thing was happening. So one of the things about him and his career is for a very long time, he was extremely against making money online, or what he would call grifting. Now, I don't, maybe that's not entirely fair, but he hated a lot of the people who made money online as grifters, and he was very reluctant to monetize his content. He went and to monetize his content, he started taking money to do anime reviews, and I think those are up on Odysee. And eventually, I feel like Ashton kind of came to a point in his life where he's like, "Look, I don't have a job. I don't think he took the vax, so he couldn't get employed at a bunch of places. He was down on his luck. He was living out in the wilderness." So he went to Andy and said, "Look, Andy, you know how to make money. I know how to entertain an audience. Let's get together." And so they started Kino Casino, which was basically to take what Ashton's like long rants and like deep dive investigations into esoteric lolcow lore and give it some actual production value and monetize it and stuff like that. So they started up Kino Casino. The show was very successful. It started up on YouTube. They did Fuentes, they did Ralph in the first couple weeks. They covered just a whole bunch of different stuff. And like I said, it was a bit more professional. They're infamous for doing like the 5, 6, 7 hour streams. One of the big complaints is that they pause too much. Like they call him Pause Key because of it. Because Andy Worski just constantly hits the pause button whenever they're going through it and laughing and stuff. And like it wasn't bad. I feel like their early shows are kind of like are not great. They didn't really have the format down, and that was back when Worski was still doing drugs and drinking. So as bad as he could be sometimes, he was just very much like just interrupting, just like not really adding anything, just laughing about like nothing. And it was really annoying. And we had this whole arc where Godwinson, the snake that he is, snaked on PPP, and then they had a falling out despite them being like best friends. And then Godwinson threw his lot in with Nick Fuentes and Ethan Ralph. And that led to like a bunch of fights. And so the more recent lore of what happened with the if people don't like this, it's fine. If people have any questions about the lore, I just was following this. I know it's kind of sad, but I'll get into why I find it interesting. So the show was, I feel, kind of limping along. The dark arc was the whole Salt Poppy arc, where Andy was going to fight Ethan Ralph, but Ralph bitched out. So they got Andy a fight against Salt Papi, who I had never actually even heard of before. But he's like a TikTok star. He's like a Filipino guy who's a big time boxer. So Andy spent something like, Andy claimed he spent like 4 to 6 months training to fight Salt Papi. And he was kind of very, by the way, I don't know. I don't know if this is burning bridges. I'm just giving my honest opinion. But he was like very distracted. He would, shows would be late. They'd have to cancel shows because allegedly he was at the gym or stuff like that training. And the show just got taken over by that and things like that. Now, like a couple days before the fight, they did this stream where they just got extremely drunk and ate like this bizarre concoction of weird food. So they went to the fight, and it was in the UK. And basically, Ashton and Andy were really playing up the whole, like, the heel thing. So because they were really playing up the whole heel thing, they just talked a lot of shit at the press conference. They're like, we're going to kill you. It's going to be over. It was built up. And Worski went up against Salt Papi. And let me just see here. We'll watch the entire fight. We will watch the entire. This is the entire fight.
In the red. How about Salt Papi? A la Manny Pacquiao from the Philippines.
Expect a lot of showboating from Salt Papi.
Salt Papi on some of the best.
So then that was the Salt Papi fight. So obviously that was kind of embarrassing. I mean, I don't know if Worski really should have been fighting like an amateur boxer who actually had victories under his belt. So I mean, fighters talk shit, but to a lot of people, they just felt like Ashton and Andy were overly arrogant and overly confident about it. And then people just kind of started shitting on Andy and making fun of him. There was like the 6-second or like 11-second meme or something like that. And all that thing. Yeah, the 5-second meme. And that led to Andy to kind of spiral and get depressed. And he just started drinking. And if you look at the streams during that time period, he gets drunk on stream a lot. And it kind of got to the boxed wine stream, wherein it's up for debate. Some people think he was snorting coke. Some people think his claim is that he had boxed wine under his desk, and it wasn't him snorting the coke. It was the sound of him that sounded like him snorting was the boxed wine. So then, like, PPP briefly canceled the show. There was like this whole fake thing that he was like going to fire Andy. He was going to do the show himself. He was going to partner up with Godwinson or someone else. And then none of that really went anywhere. They took some time off and came back. Now, that was kind of the low point for the show. Now, Worski just decided, to his credit, that I have to just stop this. Like, I have an addictive personality. I get constantly, like, every time I drink or do drugs or I think probably gamble or weed or something, I can't do any of these things in moderation. So I just have to completely stop. So I think a year and a half ago or so, Worski just said, I'm going to completely stop everything. He's going to Alcoholics Anonymous. He just doesn't drink anymore. And I got to give him credit. He looks way better than he did a year ago. So he's sober. His like show running is way smoother. He's actually like giving decent takes. They're doing the show on time. The production quality is a lot better. They seem to have very much cleaned it up. Like, one of the issues they had was whenever they would get donations, Worski would just yell them out over whatever was going on, but they've managed it better. So they were in like an extremely dark place where the stuff was all going to go downhill, but we've had the redemption arc. So that's kind of the deep lore behind Kino Casino and PvP and Ashton. I know other stuff about it. I hope some people found that interesting, at least, just because I've been following it. So I don't know. Ashton's always, he reminds me a lot of, okay, so he's different than me in a lot of ways, but he's also like a millennial right-wing Christian male from the GTA, who kind of has gone through some of the similar things in his life, like being unemployed, feeling kind of directionless, having to deal with just life in Toronto, where a lot of people just kind of hate you in a country that doesn't really accept you anymore. So yeah. I've talked to Ashton a couple times. He actually came on my Canadian election stream. He's one of the people, I'm not sure how much of his persona is an act, or him playing it up, because sometimes, particularly in some of his older streams, he can be very like thoughtful and calmer, but it's just kind of his persona. Anyways, that's kind of the background of Kino Casino and stuff like that. Sorry, Grounded Dreamer. I know people have been asking me this, and I haven't gotten to it. My only question for you is your prediction on how Trump will handle the Russo-Ukraine war. Dems think he'll give Putin everything, and that doesn't sound like him. I don't know. I honestly, maybe this is a cop-out. Maybe this is weak sauce. I actually have no idea how Trump is going to handle the Russo-Ukraine war. I think he'll start negotiating. Now, what I've heard is that he is going to give Putin two options. That he is either going to, he's going to say to Putin, okay, either you freeze the conflict or we're going to send Ukraine everything we have left. I don't know though. To be fair to Trump, he hasn't said what he is going to offer, for the obvious reason that you don't go into a negotiation saying what your offer is, like out front. Like, you don't say that up front. I would not be surprised though if Trump has some contact with Putin in the back doors. Putin's general position has been, and the position of the Russian government and Russian military, is that the election doesn't matter, and they're just going to continue along their military plans regardless of what happens. It is what they were thinking. But no, like, once again, I go back and forth on Worski over the years, but I do, and I told him this on I tweeted at him. I have a lot of respect for him for, at least in the short term, cleaning his life up and getting sober. He is doing better now than he's ever doing in his life. So I don't know. I think you have to give people credit when they have a W. I think you have to say, like, regardless of what you think about Worski, that he's retarded, that he's low IQ, people like to call him the retarded phoenix, because he keeps falling apart, then coming back. His career's been over like 4 or 5 times. But credit, like, something I've said a lot, and I know this is like a cold take, but if you have an addictive personality, if you have a hedonistic personality, you should just not do anything. Like, you just shouldn't do drugs or weed or pills or anything, because some people just can't handle it. Like, a lot of people, they can just go and they can go to a casino, they can go to Vegas, they can say, look, I'm gonna maybe I don't know, like, my total gambling budget is like $100 to $500 or something, and once that's gone, that's all I'm going to spend. I'm willing to lose that money. If I make some money, fine. If I lose it all, that's fine. But it's something that I can, live with. And there are people who can just have a drink or a beer here and there. They can maybe pop back a couple extra ones on a Friday night or with family. But if you're someone who can't do that, then you just shouldn't drink at all. Just because some people have addictive personalities and the dopamine rush, and it just screws you. And one type of substance abuse tends to lead to others. Like, people will do weed, but then they'll also do alcohol, and then they'll also do pills, and then they'll also do coke or stuff like that. So I think it's better. Gambling's another one. I think that's something, and that's what I said about Phil. So once again, I know we're getting way off topic, but I find this interesting too. So Phil has a gambling addiction. He very clearly has a gambling addiction. He spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in WWE champions, on like polls and stuff like that in the game. And gotcha games, and I've played them. I haven't spent nearly as much money as him, but I've probably spent more money than I should. Are a form of gambling. They're designed to give you a dopamine rush. They're designed to give you that sense of suspense before you're trying to pull that important character you're trying to advance in the game. They're very much geared to giving you that, like I said, that dopamine rush. So for someone with an addictive personality and someone with a gambling addiction, that's really bad. My criticism of Phil during the whole WWE Champions thing is that I would have like supported him if he had said, look, I have a gambling addiction. It is a problem. It's something I'm going to have to work on, and just come clean about it and just said that I fucked up. I would actually have respected that, but he lied about it and kept saying that like the money was for his house or whatever. But once again, I'm sorry if I'm just going way off topic, but that's just a piece of advice that I have for a lot of people. The point is, if you can't do things in moderation, just don't do them at all. You don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke weed, you don't have to do that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've actually changed my opinion on weed a lot over the years as I've gotten older. I've just seen so many people destroy their lives with it. So maybe just to kind of wrap things up. So, and this is a piece of advice I give to anyone who's internet famous, anyone who's making money on the internet. This is kind of my concluding statement for the day. One of the universal traits of lolcows is a total lack of gratitude for what they have. We looked at that Tim Pool stream where he was complaining about how he's not making enough money, about how his stupid coffee shop's failing, about how he's working 16-hour days. Things like Tim Pool was making $100,000 in Russian funding per episode before ad revenue, before donations, before subscriptions, stuff like that. He's worth what, like $5 to $10 million. He made more money than most of you guys can dream of. He makes more money in one stream than I make in a year. You have Review Tech USA. The dude had 1 million sub channel. All he had to do was make 3 15-minute videos a day. He could have made lots of cash. There's a lot of benefits to doing an online business. You don't have to commute. Commuting is very expensive. It's expensive in terms of time. You can write off a lot of stuff in terms of like business expenses, home office, stuff like that. But if you look at him, he's miserable. Phil is often miserable too. Fuentes is miserable. Who else is there? Ricada is an absolute miserable person. Like, none of these people can appreciate what they have. None of them can go, hey, look, I have a better deal than 99% of society. I'm wealthy. I'm making money. I get to do a job I love. I have people's respect. and they can't just be happy with that. They can't just go, look, I have a good deal, I'm not going to screw this up. They have to get into drugs or get into beefs, or their egos spiral or stuff like that. And I don't know. That was that was the advice I gave Ashton. I'm like, dude, you have a lot of potential, and I really hope that you do well. Just don't get a sense of entitlement. Don't become bitter and resentful that other people have more than you. That is the core of what makes people crash and burn in these circles. Yeah, like Buki is miserable. Buki has a lot to be grateful for in his life. Now, I just want to, if you'll forgive me for reading a passage from the Bible, I'd just like to read you my favorite Bible passage, because I think this is very relevant to the what I'm trying to talk about. This is something that I try to kind of keep in my mind. Let me just switch to the New King James Version, which is what I read. Okay. So this is my favorite Bible story. The parable of the ungrateful servant. Okay, so let's see here. The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. And when he had begun to settle accounts, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. That's 10,000 pieces of gold. But as he was not able to pay, his master commanded that he be sold with his wife and children and all that they had, and that payment be made. The servant therefore fell down before him, saying, Master, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. Then the master of that servant was moved with compassion, released him, and forgave him the debt. So you have this guy who he had this massive debt that he could never pay off. The king was going to throw him under the bus. He's going to throw him into jail, enslave him, sell off his wife and daughter into prostitution. And he just groveled and said, look, I'm sorry, man. Can you just give me a break? And the king gave him a break. He's like, you know what? I don't need the money. You can your debt is forgiven. Just go and sin no more. So then the second part of the story, though, is the really interesting part. But that servant went out and found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii, which is like maybe, I don't know a denarii to talent ratio, but it's the equivalent of he was forgiven $1 million debt, and this is a $10,000 debt. I think is pretty accurate. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, pay what you owe. So his fellow servant fell down at his feet and begged him, saying, have patience with me and I will pay you all. And he would not, but went and threw him into prison till he should pay his debt. So when his fellow servants saw what had been done, they were very grieved, and came and told their master all that he had done. Then his master, after he had called him, said to him, you wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you begged me. Should you not also have had compassion on your fellow servant, just as I pitied you? And his master was angry, and delivered him to the torturers until he should pay all that was due him. So my heavenly Father also will do to each of you from his heart. He does not forgive his brother. Yeah, so I think that that's a really good story about pride. And I bring that up because if you look at like Rich or Fuentes or all these guys, you'll notice that they tend to try to find someone lower than them to dunk on them. Like Dickers or whoever will try to find someone with fewer subs than them or less clout than them, and they will try to drag that person through the mud. They'll try to get their channels struck down. They'll try to humiliate that person as a way of making themselves feel better. And once again, it's the servant had no gratitude for what he was given, for this blessing, for this act of generosity. He was just bitter that he didn't have more, that he wasn't that he couldn't get the 100 denarii back. And he went and treated another man extremely cruelly. So this is, like I said, probably my favorite Bible story. This is something I like to meditate on, especially if I'm dealing with someone who I think is dumber than me or something like that. Because there's always someone above you and there's always someone below you. And you don't know necessarily what day it's going to be, who's going to be above you, and one day what's going to be below you. But and once again, like, I'm not the best at this. I get resentful, I get greedy and stuff like that. But I think that is important to try to cultivate satisfaction and cultivate gratitude for the things that you do have. And I think that is very important to being happy and to being a good person. So, like I said, with a lot of these guys, they made so much money. If they could have bought a house, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into index funds, and been set for life. But they blew it on drugs, they blew it on hookers, they blew it on all kinds of stuff. And it's just tragic. And I think it comes from a fact that they took what they had for granted. If you look at like Boogie, he says like, I need $6,000 a month or whatever minimum to meet my expenses. And yeah, so I think that is, to me, that's a story that I think really resonates with me. So I just think there's something to keep in mind in your life, to be grateful for what you have. And I think what it also is it's telling you, it's about hypocrisy. I think it's something important with treat people the way that you want to be treated, and judge not lest you be judged. Doesn't mean you can't judge people. It means if you're going to judge others, you have to be judged by the same standards. You have to treat people by the same standards that you have. So I'm overweight, for instance. I don't pretend I'm not, and I don't think that that's a good thing. So if I say, oh, that guy's also overweight, it's bad, I don't really, I don't think that that's hypocrisy, because I eat too much and it's bad, and I'm not making excuses for myself. If you're a degenerate and you admit that you're doing wrong, you can still criticize somebody else. But the issue, it's hypocrisy when you don't apply the same standard. So no, we kind of went all over the place, but I think that's why people like a lot of my streams. So anyways, I hope people found that interesting. Like I said, the two defining characteristics of a lolcow are a lack of gratitude and a lack of self-awareness. And I think 90% of cases, those two things are there. Anyways, guys, God bless. Have a beautiful Wednesday, and